Mr. Speaker, what a heartless answer that was. Yeah. In June, Liberal MPs from Atlantic Canada voted against my bill to form a Pinniped Management Act against the wishes of their constituents. These same folks are now faced with a tripling of the carbon tax, about to go on home heating fuel, and they simply can't afford it. Will Atlantic Liberal MPs vote to exempt all forms of home heating fuel from carbon tax, or will they give Atlantic Canadians the cold shoulder?
Mr. Speaker, with temperatures dropping below 0 degrees across the country, people are turning on their heat. But seniors are telling me they don't know how long they'll be able to afford to keep their homes heated with the Liberal tax hikes on the way. With natural gas and heating oil representing more than 60% of Canadian home heating, will the costly coalition with the NDP back off tripling the carbon tax?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of the Environment.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under the previous Conservative leader, just 1 year ago, everyone on that side of the House supported a price on pollution. The member for New Brunswick Southwest recently endorsed a carbon price for his province, Mr. Speaker. The member for Wellington-Halton Hills made the carbon price a centerpiece of his leadership campaign in 2017. Now everyone on that side of the House, Mr. Speaker, is vehemently opposed to a carbon price. Mr. Speaker, they've been consistent. I have to hand it to them. They are consistent flip-floppers.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Liberals must be unaware that Canada gets cold in the winter, and the hot air coming from across that side of the House won't heat people's homes.
They were popping corks in the minister's office when the Supreme Court announced they would not reopen the St. Anne's residential school file. But this issue is not going away. The Justice Department suppressed 10,000 pages of police evidence of rape, abuse, and torture of children in that awful institution. Then they lied in the hearings and spent millions on lawyers all the way to the Supreme Court. There is no reconciliation in Canada without justice for St. Anne's. So will the minister stand up and tell us he will meet with the survivors and establish a credible mediation process? Look at me when I'm talking to you about these St. Anne's survivors.
I can appreciate members, I can appreciate members wanting dramatic sound clips, but that was not acceptable. Honourable Minister.
Liberals like to pretend that inflation is kind of like the weather. Like you can bundle up as the inflation front rolls in, and mothers line their children's pockets with extra 20s in case prices go up.
They wanted to do not the simple thing, but to please the NDP and keep their majority in Parliament. So it's not dental insurance, it's majority insurance.
Mr. Speaker, Liberals think they can support workers and EI and still raise payroll taxes while small businesses in Canada fight to survive. The Prime Minister doesn't agree, or at least he didn't in 2013. On June 5th of that year, the then member for Papineau asked a question on behalf of Dustin from Calgary, noting that EI premiums were to rise by $50 and that it was a direct payroll tax increase. The member asked why the government then was doing that to Dustin and every other working Canadian. Mr. Speaker, does today's Prime Minister care about Dustin, or has he thrown him in the dustbin?
It was that minister's office who signed off on the documents telling Canadians that they paid for that work. Now we know it's not true. Millions of dollars are missing, millions of dollars over budget. And with this track record that this Liberal government has, Canadians know that they can't be trusted. Whether it was the WE scandal or SNC-Lavalin, Canadians know Liberal insiders will always get the track. So which Liberal insider got this one? Who got rich off the Prime Minister's $54 million ArriveScam?
I'm afraid
afraid my honourable colleague across the aisle may be getting a bit ahead of his skis on this one. Let's let CBSA do the full review. We'll be entirely transparent with regards to those details, Mr. Speaker. And in the meantime, I want to remind him and all members that ArriveScam was an essential tool that helped to save Canadians' lives, that helped to protect the health and safety of all Canadians during the height of the pandemic. We based that decision on evidence, on science and medicine, which of course the Conservatives continue to wage war on every day.
The honourable member for Calgary-Midnapore.
Mr. Speaker, this government spent $54 million on an application experts say they could have created for $200,000. Yet when we demanded a list from this Liberal government of the contractors to see who got the $54 million, 3 contractors have already come forward and said they didn't get a penny. What is this government trying to hide? Where's the money and who got rich?
Mr. Speaker, CBSA is him. It's that minister right there. He's the one responsible. The Liberals they imposed a crackdown on these juicy contracts. So where is the $54 million that was given to develop the ArriveScam app that should have cost $200,000? We talked about so many updates for an application that never worked. So who are the other winners of the Liberal ArriveScam lottery?
Mr. Speaker, at committee, the minister said to me, quote, "At no time did I ask Commissioner Leckie to reveal that information. I then went on to ask him if he knew about it, to which he said, no, I did not." But on the audio recording released last week, Commissioner Leckie says, quote, "It was a request I got from the minister's office. I shared with the minister it was going to be in the news release." The evidence is clear as day, Mr. Speaker. Either the minister or the commissioner is lying. Which one is it?
Quote, "It was a request that I got from the minister's office." With those recorded words, the RCMP commissioner directly implicated the former Minister of Public Safety with political interference during an investigation into the worst mass shooting in Canadian history. Canadians expect police investigations to be independent so justice can be done. The government should never be directing the RCMP to divulge sensitive information to push a political agenda. The families of victims deserve answers. If he claims his office didn't interfere, is he saying the RCMP commissioner is lying to Canadians?
Mr. Speaker, I did not at any time give direction. The testimony I gave before the Commission was entirely the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, as I've repeated here today.